Summertime has always been D&D time. Not that we're not playing D&D in the winter and the fall, other seasons, other times, but things kind of relax in the summer. The days are longer, the weather is nicer, and scheduling a game overall, especially a big game, there's less moving pieces. At least that's been the perception over the years. And for a while, one summer, we were playing D&D twice a week out on my friend's backyard porch, screened in this huge porch. And it was an open game. I was running the campaign as a DM. We were making our way through some of the classic modules. And week by week, the game was getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And that's amazing, plugging in and connecting to the D&D community. And one of the new players, after a couple of weeks, Greg, he's like, Fritz, I think I want to run my own adventure. I think I want to try my hand as a DM. And he showed me some of the notes and some of the maps. He was putting together a massive 13-level dungeon. And he wanted to run this as a DM. So I said, look, this is great. If you want to run this, we'll set aside whatever, 1, 2, 3 gaming sessions, whatever it requires to get through, and we'll kind of have it as a side quest for the campaign. We'll use it as a way to level up the characters, give them some loot, give them some experience. I mean, he was taking that first step, a very, very ambitious first step into being a DM. So we set things up. Next week comes, Greg is all set up, and there's like 5 or 6 new players. He had invited some friends, telling them about this D&D thing, connecting with the community. So we're looking at 16, 17 players, plus Greg as a DM. I was excited because I got a chance now to take one of my characters that had kind of been on hold for a while, character concept I was working on, and jump them into the adventure. But seeing this massive table and Greg's ambition and first-time DM, I said to him, I said, I think it would be better if I helped you as a co-DM. I'm not going to steal your thunder. I don't actually know the adventure, the dungeon, but let me help you with some of the heavy lifting in terms of initiative and keeping the game going. I'm not going to interject any of the rules. You're the DM. You're the final say in all the rules, but let's work as a co-DM. And we had a fantastic time playing the adventure. I wanted to share pushing out some ideas of utilizing a co-DM, utilizing this idea that in a big game of D&D, how can we begin to approach it? Now, my kind of house rule, my feeling is everyone is always welcome at my table to play D&D, virtual tables included. Regardless of experience, let's sit down, let's roll some dice, let's create some memories. Most of my games are 5 to 6, maybe 7 players. On the high end, maybe 8. And I feel like as a DM that is pretty confident, I won't say I know all the rules, all these additions mashed around in my head, but a DM that's pretty confident, 8's kind of my threshold. And that's playing with veteran players that they kind of can do a lot of the lifting and bookkeeping and prep work as we move into encounters themselves. When I say roll for initiative, they know what that means. They just do it. They report the numbers. As a co-DM, how I helped Greg and how other times I've worked as a co-DM, sit on the opposite side of the table as the DM. Be ready to track initiative. So when the DM says roll for initiative, all the players roll, co-DM writes those down. Co-DM says, okay, the orcs go. The fighter goes, the barbarian goes, the orc sorcerers go. Kind of have that system going, so this way the DM is freed up from having to look back and forth, initiative order, looking back and forth, figuring things out. If there's a minor rules question, not a DM question, like a minor's rule question where 4 or 5 initiative slots down, the magic user is like, I just leveled up. How many magic missiles do I cast? The co-DM can kind of help look that up ahead of time, help smooth that out. So when it becomes their turn, they're ready to go. Essentially cutting down on the little breaks that would happen in an encounter or possibly with skill checks or other things. The co-DM placement is also important because people, when you get to a group that big, there might be a little bit of back and forth drift. They might get sidetracked a little bit. Sitting on the other end of the table, the co-DM can help pull them back into the game. Certainly, you can run a big game. You don't need a co-DM. There's a couple of mini conventions here that I've had the great fortune to run some adventures for, and we've had big players. That said, it's a lot of focus. It's a lot of focus, and having someone to help, again, with that heavy lifting and initiative and looking some things up and keeping the game flowing, that helps the DM. So let's push this out to your DM toolkit. Let's keep it in mind. And we all have the types of adventures that we want to run. We all have the types of adventures that we enjoy playing. If you have the opportunity to play in a big game, either as a DM or as a player, I would encourage it. See what you can do, push it, but be aware of the limitations and be aware of the additional time, just the additional time that things are going to take.